to Let's Talk Spoop. I'm your host, Don, and today we are going to talk about Craft Legacy on Stars, which is a Blumhouse film. I know that this doesn't usually fit into my normal cup of tea of trying to do more obscure movies. However, this was a movie that I wanted to see because I love the original, and so wanted to do this one for you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into Craft Legacy on Stars. So it opens up with some girls just talking, because that's all you can hear is their voices, about needing a fourth, quote-unquote. They're trying to do witchcraft. They fail. They start arguing, friendly arguing, and then you get some witchy images, and then a mom and a daughter driving along. The daughter just inexplicably starts crying. No real explanation why, and then you find that they're at this new house with her mom's new husband, who apparently they have met one time. The husband is played by David Duchovny, of all actors, which I was surprised to see him, but this is a Blumhouse film. It seems like Blumhouse likes to get at least one known actor in some of their cheaper movies, so, whatever. I initially thought it must have been like the mom's boyfriend, because they'd only met once before. So like weird that they'd only met once and then her mom married the guy. But weird, right? Anyway, so she meets the guy's kids. He's got 3 boys. Then she goes to school and she has her period in class without noticing it, and then she gets pretty embarrassed by that. So I have a thing where I feel like movies like to increase the awkwardness of social interactions for teenage girls by just making them have their period. I feel like it's really, really weak and cheap writing. There are a lot of other ways that women can embarrass themselves, and there's nothing wrong or embarrassing about a natural act of the body like that, and it's just weak writing, in my opinion. I don't like it. I've seen it used multiple times in multiple different stories. The only time it was appropriate was in Carrie, because them proceeding to throw tampons at her. If you haven't seen Carrie, spoiler alert. But the scene that follows, where she gets bullied due to having had her period, is like... And the way that they did it, because is like the only time I've ever seen it used where I wasn't like, well, that's just weak writing, right? Okay, so she gets picked on for having her period, so she goes to the bathroom to like hide, I guess, and then the coven comes to talk to her, and then they start doing magic. The guy who like pointed out that she was having her period, like, harasses her in the hallway, and she accidentally uses magic to throw him across the hallway, and then she gets put into detention for this dude literally whispering in her ear that, like, that the best way to stop cramps is to have sex. Like, that's messed up. Like, anyway, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been in high school. I feel like maybe that is realistic. I don't know. I feel like it's not, though. So... yeah, there's that. So, again, weak writing. She's the 4th of the coven. We get some exposition. They experiment with using magic. They use it kind of... They really only use one spell, and the rest of the time they're kind of just, like, throwing magic around. Kind of like the movie The Covenant, where it's, like, they just kind of throw it around rather than, like, casting spells and stuff, which I think is boring, but it is what it is. They do cast a couple of actual spells, but for the most part, it's just like, oh, I can suddenly shoot fireballs out of my hands, which, if that's how that worked, that would be awesome, but I've spoken with my Wiccan friends, and that's not how that works, so, yeah. Anyway, there's a surprisingly woke, like, side stories going on, and then at the end, so, like, it's surprisingly woke, but kind of low-key, and then at the end, they just go full, like, we are going to hammer in woman power to you harder than the scene in the Avengers movie where all the girls stand together to fight Thanos. We're just going to shove this straight down your throat. Which, more power to women, but like there are far more effective ways to write that into your story than having the big baddie make a speech about males being the powerful ones. So anyway, story 2.5. There's some things about it I enjoyed, some things about it clearly that I did not enjoy. But overall, 2.5 out of 5 for story. Acting, David Duchovny. That was unexpected. The acting is stilted. It feels like they force a lot of the relationships, like the relationship between Lily, who's the main character, and her mother, Helen. The build up of the relationships with her and her friends just all felt kind of forced. That they were all friends and so quick. So, acting, 2 out of 5. David Duchovny, I thought you could have done better. I'm kind of disappointed in you. Music is well executed. It sets the mood well. Pretty much every time that they used music in this movie, it's pretty much the only thing that made the atmosphere not cringy. So, 4 out of 5 for music. The atmosphere is all over the place. Like, awkward sexual tension between Lily and the bully, and awkward sexual tension between the bully and Lily's stepbrother. Awkward sexual tension between Lily and all 3 of her stepbrothers. Just real awkward. Just overall, the atmosphere was awkward. 2.5 on the atmosphere. The look, the special effects are very meh. There's a couple of people who have to do some pratfalls. Yeah, not great. 2 out of 5 for look. Creep. This movie is not scary. It's not creepy, except for David Duchovny's interaction with literally every other character in the movie. That's about the only creepy thing in this entire movie. So a 1 out of 5 for Creep. We tally up those scores, and we get a 2.1 out of 5 skulls for Craft Legacy on Stars. So, my personal thoughts on this movie. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't very good. I enjoyed it because I'm a fan of the craft and I like the concept, but it was not very well executed. However, I feel that if you've never seen the original Craft and you were to watch this movie first and then watch the original afterward, that it would give you a better appreciation for the original. That's my hot take on this one. Thanks for listening.